from Outbound News, and here is a doctor. We are to do our interview. So the first question, Doctor, I know you are director of COTRI, right? Are you also founder of this institute?
Yes. So my name is Professor Dr. Wolfgang Georg Arlt. I also have a Chinese name, which is Wang Niti. And in 2004, I started the China Outbound Tourism Research Institute, which is based in Germany, but also we have an office here in China.
And so what motivates you to found this institute, and what's your idea of this institute?
So actually, I've been traveling in China for many years. So the first time I came to Beijing was in 1978, rather early, spring 78. It was reform and opening had not started yet. And in the 1980s, I organized tours from Europe to China, but in the 1990s, I had an inbound tour operating company, and we were organizing delegations from China to Europe. At that time, of course, this was not leisure tourism, this was business tourism. So I've been working like for 10 years in the market as an entrepreneur myself with a company. But in the end of 1990s, I then changed into academics, a university professor. But of course, still since that time, I have a lot of explorers. Like 10 years or so ago, the China outbound tourism market, also leisure market, started to grow. So I saw that, of course, a lot of people have no experience with the Chinese tourists, and Chinese tourists have different expectations from other tourists, and that there's a need for the non-Chinese tourism industry all over the world to learn more about how to treat Chinese people well, what means service quality for Chinese people. And so I decided to use my practical experience and connect it to my academic research. And that in the end resulted in that we started this little institute.
And the second question is about COTTM. And you are a partner of this exhibition, or you are one member of the organizing committee?
Well, rather partner. So the COTTM is organized by a company called Tarsus, which is based in Britain, in London. And already for 5 or 6 years, we are working with them and we are working for them in organizing all the things which are going around the fair. So we have workshops, like one we did today, for the exhibitors. We have workshops for the hosted buyers in Chinese language. And we do, since 8 years, we do the Chinese Tourist Welcoming Awards, where we give awards to destinations and companies which are doing best practice things for the Chinese outbound market. This year, for the first time, we will have a social media workshop, because now social media becoming more and more important. And for this, so we are working for Tarsus company. So, and of course, it's also very important for us to get feedback from the exhibitors, from the visitors, about the development of the market.
So what do you think that makes this exhibition special or distinguished from other exhibitions of this kind?
Well, this is the only exhibition which is only about outbound tourism and only B2B tourism on a national scale. So there are other exhibitions, like of course like the CITM in Shanghai or Kunming, which are much bigger in the terms of exhibitors or visitors. But of course, this is mostly about domestic tourism, so Chinese exhibitors and a lot of Chinese end users. But this one is only business to business. So you have maybe only like 10,000 visitors, not 500,000 visitors. But all these people here are business people, and they're doing business with each other. And also it's only about outbound, so it's not mixed up with inbound or domestic. And of course it has been running here already for 6 or 7 years, so there is a tradition already, and the organizers, well, they have learned how to do this in a good way. And you can see that from year to year it is growing. And of course it is based in Beijing, which is the capital of China, and a lot of the national tourism organizations are based here in Beijing. So it is the most obvious place to have this exhibition.
And in your lecture just now, you have talked a lot about how to do business with the Chinese, and for companies or agencies that are the Chinese companies and agencies that are in this business? Do you have any tips for them? Like what can they do to promote the outbound tourism here?
Yeah, I think in the first phase of outbound tourism, the first 10 years, it was mostly people traveling for the first time, and then of course they want to go to the most famous places, they want to do the most famous things. So it was, everybody was doing the same, and it was very easy, and the only question was price, how to have a very low price. But there was not much concern about quality. So but now we are entering a new phase of the Chinese outbound tourism, where we still have a lot of mass tourism. We still have people who, for the first time, are traveling, and maybe they have to, maybe that's once in a life they travel. But also now we have more and more people who have been traveling already several times. And younger people, they speak English, they have some experience. So they're very different from these first-time visitors. And therefore, I think for the Chinese tour operators, it is very important to develop more specialized products. So to have for special interest groups products for niche markets. So I think there is at the moment you have a growing demand for theme-oriented tours or some hobby-oriented tours, and also we have the supply. It's all there. What we need at the moment, where I see the missing link, is there's no bridge. So demand is there, supply is there, but the Chinese tour operators, especially the big tour operators, have only concentrated on the number, on the volume, and they have not concentrated enough on what the people really want. And so of course, for these special things, if you do golf tours or nature tours, of course you will not have so many customers, but probably you will earn more money per customer, and also you can build your brand. Until now, I think for the Chinese tourist, if you ask him what is the difference between the brands, between CITS, CTS, CYTS, CWTS, it's all the same. So that we don't have any brand where you know, okay, if I book with this company, maybe I have to pay a little bit more money, but I can be sure a guarantee that the quality also will be better. At the moment, you don't know. Even the price is higher. Maybe you pay more, but the quality is still not better. So this is something which I think now is the next phase of the Chinese outbound tourism development, that this has to happen, that you have some companies catering for the mass market, where still price is the main thing, but also you have some other tour operators which are more specialized, maybe specialized for one region, doing only trips to Europe or only trips to Africa, or specialized for one topic, so doing only golf tours or tours for people interested in dancing or in nature or whatever.
You mentioned about bridge. The bridge, does it mean quality?
No, I mean you have Chinese customers looking for some special offers. They don't want to do this normal tours rushing around. And you have, of course, also supply. You have, of course, all kind of specialist service providers in the destinations. But how can the customers find them? So now I know many people in China, they start searching for themselves, because if you go to a travel agency, most of the people in travel agencies, they cannot help you. But maybe they have never been outside China, so they cannot give you a very good introduction, and they cannot help you when you say, okay, I'm interested in, I don't know, dancing. So I want to go to Europe, and I want to see different dancing in Italy and Spain and Scandinavia. So try to go to a travel agency here in Beijing and ask this kind of question.
So you mean people, nowadays they like to do independent traveling rather than package tourism organized by a certain tourist agency?
Yes, so I think this is, and they do this because there are no good offers for this kind of interest from the tour operators. So the tour operators are missing out on business they could have because they don't offer this. And if you have been on the Eiffel Tower 2 times, why should you go on the Eiffel Tower a third time? There's no point in that. So I think the experience and the sophistication of the travelers has been growing faster than the sophistication of the tour operators. So they are still selling the old stuff. And of course, there's also a market for that. It's not stopping one and doing something else. It is keeping what you have been doing before, but adding to that something new. And this is for luxury tourism, also MICE tourism, so fairs, exhibitions, and incentive tours, where there is a big demand in China. And well, we are working for companies in outside China, in Europe, in America. They say, well, we have some luxury product. We want to sell this in China, but we don't find the right person to represent us here, because when we talk to a company like CTS or CITS, they ask you, well, how many people you expect to have in 1 year? And if you say, well, 3,000, they say, only 3,000? We don't want to talk to you. So this is the point. That's what I mean with bridge. So normally the tour operator is a bridge between demand and supply, and this bridge is not existing or very weak in China at the moment.
So how to build this bridge? Do you think the government should lose some grip on this?
Well, I'm very optimistic, because there are in China now many young, bright people, like the people working obviously in your company. So I think there are a lot of people who have that experience and they can do that. So what the government has to do is, and I think is already starting to doing that, is to allow these companies to do the business. So because I think there are enough people in China who have the experience, and they have been outside, maybe studied abroad, so then they know what are the possibilities you have in the destinations, and they know the kind of customers you can get here. So the government, I think all they have to do is to provide the frame that you say, okay, the regulations are in such a way that it is easy to start an outbound tour operator company. And of course, the other thing is that a lot of international tour operators are waiting to be allowed to offer outbound tours. Until now, international tour operators are not allowed to do outbound tourism. Only Chinese companies or joint venture companies are allowed to do that. So also I think if the government, and I expect this to happen in the next few years, if the government allows everybody to do outbound tourism, then we will see a further development, because obviously a lot of the international tour operators, they know their destinations because that's where they're coming from.
And thank you for taking my interview and answering this question so kindly. And I hope we can meet next time and talk more on this outbound tourism topic. So
Thank you very much.
thank you.